All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Complexity Casting on Tour Live, cycle number 4. We're getting about halfway done with season 1 of HoN Tour, so we are getting into the nitty gritty now. Not quite yet, but I mean, these teams, they're looking for points. Complexity, they're still in the fight for the top 3, and they do not want to lose. They do not want to drop out of that top 3. They want to be guaranteed to get into that HoN Tour Finals, which was announced to be in Las Vegas. So they want to make it there. They want a guaranteed spot. They don't want to have to fight through that 8-team single elimination tournament for it. Screw that. They want to win right here, right now. Part of that is taking down Lions. Series all tied up at 1-1. Complexity falling apart there in game number 1, but damn, in game number 2, the Angel himself, Moon Meander. No, not Moon Meander. It's B-Kid. He was, of course, dropping some sweet Wrath of the Pharaohs, making sure to interrupt all those Tempest Elemental Voids. Did a fantastic job, and, of course, everybody on Complexity over there. Haxer and farming 600 gold per minute. Moon Meander getting awesome roots. Looked good for them all around. We'll see what Master Drafter Franzi has in store for this game number 3. Let's get on into it. Ophelia and Wild Soul being the blind bands here for the Legion team, getting rid of some of that pushing potential, while the Hellborn team chooses to get rid of Wild Soul and Wretched Hag. Wretched Hag being blind banned. I literally don't know that I've ever seen Wretched Hag blind banned before, but that is quite strange. She's a strong hero. I don't know about that, though. I don't know about blind banning her, but Flensmeister in that game number 1, I mean, he played phenomenally on that hero, so I could understand why they might be going for that blind ban, but that is indeed what did happen. Locks, first lock by Hanskin, goes with Aluna, Franzi, Tempest, and Pharaoh, where Hanskin finishes up with Keeper of the Forest and Bubbles. Keeper, Tempest, not being banned out. Franzi finishes out with Moon Queen, so looking at that. 2 junglers in the form of Keeper of the Forest and Tempest. Very likely both will be seen here. Hard carry there with Moon Queen, whereas you got a couple suicides with Bubbles and Pharaoh, and then strong support in way of Aluna. I've been seeing Aluna locked a lot recently and not picked, because you typically put the Aluna in there, let's say, okay, if we need the support, we can take the support. But a lot of times they're just such strong heroes. I mean, you want that Tempest, you want that Moon Queen, you want that Keeper of the Forest. And then, of course, you might need a Suicide, so maybe you can't get that Aluna. That's why a lot of times you see the Glacius picked up here, the Engineer picked up here. We'll see which heroes aren't going to be picked up as we get into the banning phase. Plague Rider, first banned by Hanskin. He also goes with Parasite and Engineer. So Engie, see ya. Parasite, the offensive jungler, taken out as well and getting rid of a Suicide, making the Bubbles and the Pharaoh look all the more desirable. Pebbles, Fade, and Nymphora being banned out as well. So getting rid of a strong combination there with the Fade Nymphora. Such amazing global potential between those 2 heroes. And then the Pebbles as well. So a lot of offensive heroes being banned out in the middle lane. Heroes like Meraxis, heroes like Magmus, and Hammerstorm perhaps going to be picked up here, as you've already lost out on a lot of the other strong ones with the Fade and the Pebbles. And in fact, we already see a Hammerstorm being picked up there with the second pick. First one was Silhouette, so going with the hard carry that Haxorn played so effectively last time. It's Flensmeister's time to shine. We'll see if he picks that up. And Glacius is going to be Franzi's pick to actually coincide with the Hammerstorm. So, with Hammerstorm Glacius already picked up, Complexity is going to be looking for a jungle, a Suicide, and a carry. All 3 of those are available in the lock. They're going to get 2 out of the 3. Now they need to worry about which ones are not available. There's 2 junglers, there's 2 Suicides, so they almost have to pick up a carry here if Lions does not grab a carry, but they already have a Silhouette, so they should be safe taking the Moon Queen in the lock pool if that's what they want to do. Torturer Andromeda comes out now from Lions, so the versatility of Torturer making its way in once again, and Andromeda, not the strongest of supports in a 2v2 situation in the middle lane. Andromeda shines in a roaming capacity. She shines as a primary or secondary stun in a tri-lane, an offensive tri-lane. This leads me to believe that Lions is actually going to run a tri-lane. a very real possibility. Run the Suicide Keeper of the Forest. Try lane a Torturer Andromeda plus another hard stunner. Maybe a Magnus. Maybe something a little bit different. Who knows? They might pick something else here, but they don't really have a whole lot of options. Might run the Silhouette and then the Keeper of the Forest plus... Actually, that's what, in fact, what I think it's going to be. It's going to be a Keeper of the Forest here. They're going to run that Suicide or maybe short lane. And then they're going to pick up a Bubbles or a Pharaoh to solo the off lane here after Tempest and the other Suicide is going to be picked up here from Complexity. So we'll see Tempest plus probably Bubbles. Yeah, I'm going to say Tempest plus Bubbles here. But they also don't want to give up Pharaoh. So it might be Tempest plus Pharaoh. Because if they give Pharaoh to the Lions team, then that's going to be able to interrupt their Tempest. So we'll see what Franzi picks. The Bubbles, of course, a little bit better at dealing with both Keeper of the Forest and Silhouette. The silence and the AoE damage there is just a little bit stronger. But we'll see. Tempest, standard. And I'm going to go with Pharaoh. Goes with Bubbles. So Pharaoh is going to be the last pick here. From Lions, going to be able to interrupt that Tempest. And that's at least what I would expect. Got about 55 seconds to make their decision. And if they do go that route, then it will most likely be a solo Torturer middle. It'll be an Andromeda trying to support a Silhouette against a Suicide Bubbles, which Bubbles will actually have a pretty decent time in that regard. He will be able to trade auto attacks with the Andromeda better just because of the difference in range. That extra 150 range on Bubbles really, really does help him out. And so Lions taking a lot of time. We already know they're going to pick Pharaoh. Why'd you have to take all that time, Lions? So they do pick that one up. And Super KGE going to be playing the Pharaoh. How about that? He does play their Suicide whenever they need to have one. Hanskin going to be playing the Keeper of the Forest in the jungle. And then Krebson there on the Torturer. Or Seal Kid on the Andromeda. So yeah, Andro going to be roaming between middle and bottom lane. Silhouette solo bottom. Torturer in the mid. Pharaoh Suicide. Keeper of the Forest in the jungle. On the other side, you can have Hammerstorm pairing up with Franzi on the Glacius. In the middle lane, Bubbles doing a Suicide thing. Jungle Tempest. And then, of course, your short lane solo Draconis. Both of these teams go in some very predictable lineups, and we'll see if in a moment here after the pause they go to throw a little bit of a wrench in. Might throw a little bit of a wrench in the works, but well, that wrench is a pause. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna write a book about pauses. I'm gonna write a children's book because you need to start teaching them young. If they get to the age of these players, which is what, you know, youngest player, I believe, is Seal Kid. I think he's 17. I want to say Seal Kid is 17 here. And the oldest, I believe, is B Kid, who is 24. 23 or 24, one of those two. These guys, they're already ingrained in their habits. They can't stop pausing at this point. You got to catch them when they're young. And I'm talking like 3-4 years old. You got to write a book. I'm going to call it Pauses and Puppies. There you go, man. I'm going to call it Pauses and Puppies. And every time that you have a pause, you don't get a puppy. But if you go through a game without pausing, you get to play with a puppy. And who doesn't want to play with a puppy? If you don't like dogs, don't talk to me. It's not okay. I am very much so a dog person. I also like cats, though. I have a dog and a cat. Just love animals. Animals are awesome. But we're going to get back into this game, as that pause didn't take too long. Didn't pull a Vitriolic Gaming and go off and do the dishes. Ugh, I got to talk to Mikey's about that. Make sure that never happens again. 4 players from the Legion side going to be making their way up into the Hellborn jungle, led by Andromeda. The 1.75 second stun there from the Comet could very, very well catch somebody like this Draconis or somebody like the Glacius, but they're going to have full vision here and not going to catch anybody just yet. Andro actually turning around a little bit there. Might have been able to catch somebody out of position if she had not hesitated, but I can understand why, as a 500 life Andromeda, you would hesitate at running into the unknown. Sometimes you just don't know what's going on, and sometimes, in this case, is all the time. So you don't know what's going on the other side. Let's QQ trying to run down these creeps. I saw the courier start to move, and I was like, oh, courier, you cannot stop those animated trees. I don't care if you're a Pop-Tart cat, but you're just a monkey right now, so you especially cannot stop those trees. That'd be terrible if the courier actually got killed by those trees. Good job there from Hanskin to actually make sure that Creep Wave is going to be pulled back into the favor of Pharaoh. And Super KGE even going to use the rocket right now. As where is that rocket going? Oh! Nice block right there. Can actually block out that camp. And that will actually set back Moon Meander. Not a huge amount. That's the same thing as actually having a support stand right here. If you actually walk in right here, you can just sit here in this little location. And you can stand above the camp and it'll block it. And that'll set back Moon Meander a little bit. Not like a huge amount. But now he's going to have to go do this camp instead of this camp. And he'll fall behind just a little bit right there. And in fact, not even going to try to do that. Going to wait until the small camp respawns here in a second. And then he's going to be perhaps in a little bit of trouble. I don't know. Might be able to get work done. But with level 1 elementals, it's really, really hard to tackle either a Minotaur camp or a Vagabond Later camp. So it could set him behind. And I really do like that decision from Super KGE to use that nice early rocket to actually block the camp. Well played to him. Middle lane, Hammerstorm versus Glacius against Torture and Andromeda. So I thought that Andro was perhaps going to be in the bottom lane. Thought that he was going to be trying to make sure that this Bubbles did not get any farm. Instead, going to be in the middle lane. And talk about long stuns here. 2-second stun from Hammerstorm. 1.75 second stun from Andromeda. I just clicked on that spell and was really worried that I accidentally used it. Sometimes my brain just freaks out. Forgets that I'm not playing. Speaking of playing, I'm going to play tonight. I'm going to have to play some games. I played like 4 games yesterday and it was awesome. I'm going to have to play some more games tonight. But, yeah. So, that's a lot of stuns. The chain reaction stun, of course, does do a little bit of scaling itself at level 1. Only 1.25, and I think it goes up... Pretty sure it goes up to like 1.85 or something like that at level 4. Sounds about right. It goes up 0.2 each time. Let's actually take a look. There we go. Chain reaction now. Level... Okay, so it's going to go all the way up to 2 seconds at level 4. So yeah, long stuns. When you hit level 5 here, you're going to have 3.5 seconds of stuns. 2 1.75s. And going to be able to lock down this Glacius a long time. Now, the problem is that the chain reaction has a pretty long cast animation. Not as long as it was 2 years ago, but still a pretty long cast animation, and the range on the Comet stun is only 500. So they're going to have to get pretty close, and they got to spread out so that they don't get Hammerstorm stun. Otherwise, I feel like the Lions team has a little bit better of a lane in mid, but it's going to come down to whether Torture can not only get the farm, but also make use of that farm. As soon as you get a portal key on your Hammerstorm, you know you're going to be around ganking and everything like that. Torture still can be very, very squishy until he gets some items, and it's going to be very, very dependent on positioning, making sure that he's not get caught out of position in order to make something really happen for his team. Dragon up in the top lane, doing very well against Super KGE. So KGE doing fantastic at blocking that camp. Since then, though, 12-1. He's out of regen, though. That's the problem. This is another one of those circumstances where a Pharaoh can do well against the Dragon until he's out of regen. And look at this. Like, he just dropped that, what is that called? Fiery Barrage? Yeah, Fiery Barrage on the ground, and Pharaoh can't really man up. Gonna have to use that Tormented Soul to actually get some last hits. The problem with the Tormented Soul is it pushes the lane, as Bubbles perhaps in some trouble here. Using the Shell Surf, has to go back the other direction. Gonna take some additional auto attacks. And Silhouette actually gonna try to go for the last hit here, and, well, take cover is available from B-Kid, so not gonna be diving too far. Flensmeister on the Silhouette as... Oh! There's the haste rune from Krebson right there, and does pick up the kill onto B-Kid, so... Wow, nice job there from Krebson. Keeper of the Forest was actually camping that haste, and I assumed that he had just picked it up. No, Krebson does the rotation, and B-Kid goes down in the bottom lane. Unfortunate for the Angel. And now in the middle lane, taking a Hammerstorm stun, it looked like. get some potions, and he's going to be fine. Glacius has to back on up and buy some potions and some wards himself. Cool 5-minute tree respawn. Cut down the tree to get in there. 5 minutes, the trees respawn and trapped him in there. Oh, man. Take care of one thing there real quick. There we go. Bubbles is hanging out in the middle lane. Does not want anything to do with the bottom lane. This Fundsmeister is going to free farm that. And, well, Keeper of the Forest, level 6, going to come over. Does spawn out B-Kid. And B-Kid's in some trouble. Chain Reaction comes out. There's the root, and B-Kid will go down. Going to try to bring in Torture right here. There's the Elemental Void, though, and able to take down Torture. Will they be able to get Andromeda as well? Actually clean up onto Tempest. And so, ends up being a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of the Lions team. Complexity. Not quite able to make that happen, even though they had 4 players there in the middle lane. Ended up giving 2 kills up. So not exactly what they wanted. And Moon Meander, 288 gold per minute. Dying at 6 minutes into the game. Not where he wants to be, that's for sure. Solot continues to free farm the bottom lane. 336 gold per minute on him. And you'd expect it to be a little tiny bit higher since Bubbles has been gone for about 2 minutes now. In the top lane, Dragon farming about the same. As there's a stun going out on the Torture. Shellsurf, Song of the Sea, activates the power supply. Is going to survive for now, chugging those mana, or the bottle charges as well. So B-Kid, level 5 Bubbles, trying to help out and get some roaming done here. Unsuccessfully for the most part, though. He got an assist on the kill on Torture earlier, but that was really after he died. Didn't get any experience for that. That was only the Shellsurf that kind of got off as he died. And defensive tower now going to be taking some pressure in the bottom lane. Level 7, Keeper of the Forest going to try to help bring this down. And Glacier is going to come over as well. Frenzy going to lend some Tundra Blasts. Will they be going in for a deny, though? There's the rune going to be going off, but no, not going to be going in for a deny. Goes down in favor of the Legion team, so everybody gets 350 gold. 315, that is. Starting to do too, and this is kind of what I talked about once again. You need to be careful about this. By the time you start to take 2 towers, you're going to get rotated on a little bit, and I don't like when the carry actually pushes up. Send the carry mid at this point and allow the carry to farm out mid, or allow the carry to farm out some stacks in the jungle. Something like that. Sending him up into the tier 2 tower. I get that you need to do it to get some anti-push going, or if nobody's rotating, then you might go up there and just get it done to get the tower killed. But very, very scary position. On the other side, now the long lane tower taking some pressure as well. Draconis working on that one with the assistance of Tempest. He's going to come in and drop that Ring of Sorcery. And this, I think, that the Legion team can actually stop. Super KGE does have a teleport available. Right now, though, he's looking at Hammerstorm and Glacius. Needs to be very, very careful not to ult this illusion. I'm not sure quite what the information level is here for the Legion team, as there's the Wrath of Pharaoh going out. Now knows that's an illusion for sure. Top tower does go down. Nobody going to be trying to stop that one. Instead, working on the bottom tier 2 at Half-Life. And the middle tier 1. Lacey's going to come in, drops the Tundra Blast. And Tempest is going to come on in as well, has the Elemental Void available. There's the Ice Imprisonment. Tower going to start to go down here. It is in deny range, and they want to finish this off so badly. But no, there's a lot of Elemental Replicates. This tower will get denied. Still going to get some gold. And of course going to be able to get the map control as well. And the tower in the bottom lane ripe for the pushing at some point. But that point is not now. Nine and a half minutes into the game, Lions up 2,000 gold, experience lead, pretty much even as well, so they've got to be happy with that. Tempest farming well on the Hellborn side, up at 309 gold per minute. The real good farmers, though, are the carries. Silhouette essentially farming against nobody, up at 380 gold per minute, as is Haxerin, up at 365 gold per minute. He was farming against Pharaoh, and Super KGE did a good job of getting levels, but in terms of farm, not necessarily super good. Although 265 gold per minute, so he did better than I expected up in that lane. Might come from the 1 assist that he had, might have come from the 2 towers that his team has pushed, but doing pretty well for himself. So he's going to be able to finish up something here. He's actually going to go to town. And I don't know. I think he might have been working on some upgraded boots. Might have been working on a helm of the Black Legion. I think that he would have enough money for the helm of the Black Legion, actually. And so we'll see when he picks that up in a minute. No. Upgrades those steam boots and is now going to look to get real aggressive. On the other side, Hammerstorm being played by LesQQ, doing a little bit of stacking here. Level 6 Hammerstorm. A little bit under-leveled, perhaps. His farm's at 227 gold per minute, and he's going to move into the top lane while Dragon clears up some stacks. Actually clears up some Ancients. The top lane. Invisible Andromeda looking for... Oh, Dragon could be in some serious trouble right here. Invisible Andromeda wants to drop the stun, and... Well, there's the root going to be coming out. Comet Stun going to be coming out right afterward. And there it is. Dragon does go down. Almost avoid available. Need to back up off this Tempest, perhaps. There's the Swamp, actually. A couple more auto attacks, and Tempest will go down. Lions getting a huge couple of picks right there. Even going to be able to steal the rest of this triple stacked Ancients. It's about 500 gold worth of creeps. B-Kid coming in with the Shell Surf, trying to steal one. Did end up getting the Dragon Master. So that's nice. And the defensive tier 2 tower going to be going down in the bottom lane. So very, very good for Lions there. And complexity, they just got a little bit outmaneuvered right there. Dragon was just kind of in the wrong position. Getting those Ancients done, they didn't have enough vision. There was some right here. But when you have a Keeper of the Forest that you knew was in the bottom lane, you need to have somebody keep it an eye over here, or a Rev Ward or something. Great positioning there from Lions. Silhouette going for that early Nullstone. 12 minutes in, and she's going to find herself about 1,800 gold off at this rate. Going to be finishing up about 17 minutes. Draconis going to be a little bit behind that, around 19 minutes or so. But he's going to need to find some more farm. That triple stacked Ancient, that's one of those is really where you want to be at right about the time that you're going to be finishing up your Nullstone. And then be able to start working on a second one. Unfortunately, though, losing out on about half of that triple stacked Ancient. Not going to be able to make too much use of that one. And Keeper of the Forest actually going to be doing some of his own now, while Dragon will be making his way into the jungle. And this is something you got to worry about when you have a Tempest on your team. Tempest is a very, very good farmer. He clears out double and triple stacked Ancients better than just about any other farmer in the game. Maybe not as good as a Legionnaire. Okay, I'll give you that. Not as good as a Legionnaire. But other than that, very, very good. So he wants to be getting that. He wants to be working toward his portal key, which he does not have just yet. Instead, grabbing some dust, some Mystic Vestments, and moving back down to 300 gold per minute. Yeah, he definitely needs to step it up a little bit more. Hasn't had the best of times. 2 deaths already. And with the Dragon contending for farm, like, look at that. He killed 1 stack there. Not able to do anything else. Just a few too many chickens in the coop. A few too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know. I don't know what the saying is. You guys know how bad I am at sayings. Is specifically chicken sayings. So for a guy that once ran a chicken house, I'm particularly bad at being able to say I put all of my chickens in one basket, until a viewer so astutely pointed out that the chickens would just fly away. You know, then I had to say to him, no, they clip their wings. Shouldn't be flying away. Invisible Pharaoh right now looking for somebody to kill. He's going to be making his way up there and will find the Hammerstorm. Still going to be looking for some more scouting information here. And Tempest hiding way the heck over here. Moonmeander's got to be a little bit wary of what's going on. Word of Revelation going to be coming out, and they're going to go on to Hammerstorm. TP support's going to be coming in, though, in a moment. Hammerstorm taking a lot of pressure here. There's the Comet stun as well. Hammerstorm will go down. No TP's coming in, and Moonbander just going to try to hide in the trees. TP's on out of there. And so Lions getting even further ahead here. 4,500 gold up. 600 experience as well. Franzi double stacking some Ancients, and, well, everybody else on the Complexity team fallen pretty far in farm, down to 200 range. So it's really all going to come down to this Dragon, but even Dragon getting out farmed a little bit by Silhouette. He's going to be finishing up that Nullstone around 16 minutes here. Dragon actually going for a Mighty Blade first, so feeling a little bit scared, saying I need a little bit more max HP to feel comfortable. And that's probably not a bad idea with a Pharaoh, with a Keeper of the Forest, with an Andromeda, even the Torture. Not a bad idea. It's going to delay that Nullstone, though, quite a bit. It's a Comet stun. Does actually verify that was an illusion. Silhouette at 170 or 107 and 33 in terms of creep kills right now, whereas Dragon is at 116 and 15. The difference is Dragon has a death, whereas Silhouette is 1-0 and 1. Able to participate in some kills, and her team certainly helping out with the tower push as well. A total of 4 towers down. Top tower took a little bit of pressure there, and mid tower still sitting at full as there's another illusion. Silhouette porting back out to that shadow, though. It's the nice thing about Silhouette. You just aggressively farm and port back to that shadow whenever. So even when Moonbander does finish up his Shrunken Head, which appears to be what he's going for first, as he does pick up a Mighty Blade, not going to be going for that portal key right away, which I can kind of agree with, but I kind of disagree with too. There's so many things that interrupt this Tempest ultimate, and what's the point of the Tempest pick? I mean, they almost had to pick Tempest because the other team had Keeper of the Forest. If you give both of them away, you're in such deep crap. But when you have a Tempest and the other team has Keeper of the Forest and Pharaoh, you should never be able to get an ultimate off. Like, ever. And, well, Glacius is perhaps in some trouble. There's the Comet stun. Wrath the Pharaoh comes in, and Tormented Soul finishes off. Poor little Francie. Even going to get his ward countered right there. Hellborn team falling way back. Look at the offensive warding here from Seal Kid. Very, very offensive spots. Wants to make sure that they're able to find somebody out just like that. And working extremely well with the Keeper of the Forest to actually get people invis in there. Dragon still farming pretty well. Up to 419 gold per minute, and does finish up his Shrunken Head. So going to get that first instead of going for the Nullstone, and I think this is a good decision. I think that now that he doesn't take as much magic damage, the only really truly physical damage that he has to worry about is coming out of the Silhouette. And Silhouette, even though she has that Nullstone, doesn't have a whole lot of damage. Needs to go for something like a Shield Breaker before she can start pumping out some damage, but before that, you want to have some additional mobility. Something like a Portal Key that was just picked up by Hammerstorm, actually. Speaking of big pickups, Torture goes for a Shrunken Head first. So how about that? 375 gold per minute here on Krebson. And this is the story right here, is Keeper of the Forest being played by Hanskin, and Krebson playing the Torture up at 360 and 380 gold per minute. They are maintaining very, very strong farm with these tower pushes, with their involvement in all these kills. They are doing extremely well for themselves. And Keeper of the Forest with the red boots, the Ring of the Sorcery, and Portal Key, in addition to 2,500 gold saved up, he is extremely comfortable with where he's at. And now going to be just evacuating the vicinity. Does not want anything to do with that. We'll see what he picks up, whether it's going to be something like a Barrier Idol, maybe something like an Astrolabe, maybe straight for a Refresher. Could go for a Mock, could go for a Soul's Bulwark, could be finishing up his boots. There's so many options when you are Keeper of the Forest with strong early farm, so it's really almost entirely about personal preference. Both these teams just kind of playing their styles. Talked about this multiple times during the series. These teams both play very, very similarly. They go for the strong carry. They go for the strong suicide. They like to just pick up standard lineups, and they don't like to be overly aggressive. They just capitalize on their opponent's mistakes. And if their opponents don't make any mistakes, well, what are you going to do about that? Even the forest needs to be careful up here. Does in fact blink away before any dust was used. Does I need to check one thing real quick? My fan not really working out so hot. There we go. As Bubbles gets initiated on over here, Silhouette takes the kelp field, and Silhouette needs to be careful. Teleports back out to the shadow, though. Double damage Hammer Storm. Hitting pretty hard, 189 gold per minute, or 89 damage, not gold per minute. I know some of you guys might hear a little bit more noise than you did just a minute ago. I had to crank my fan up just a tiny bit on my my graphics card. And sorry about that. I actually tried to fix that for you guys by putting an aftermarket cooler on there. And what did it do? It broke my video card. So I just got my RMA video card back in a few days ago. And, well, it's kind of loud. It's kind of loud, unfortunately, but I'm still working on a solution to try to minimize that noise. Because I know it can be just a tiny bit annoying, but my apologies. Keeper the Forest and Pharaoh looking like they want to go on somebody up here. But you need to be very, very careful about engaging. Now, they will spot out Glacius, and where's the Wrath of the Pharaoh? Where's the Wrath of the Pharaoh? Going to be using the portal key, perhaps? No. Not going to go in for it just yet. For those of you just joining us, this is coLcast with me, your casting host, Beef. Brought to you by Complexity Gaming. This is HoN Tour Live, cycle number 4, Diamond. There's the Wrath of the Pharaoh going to be coming out and catches Tempest. Tempest in some serious trouble. Moonmeander does go down. Shrunken Head being used by Torture right there. And with that pickoff, with Tempest down for 45 seconds, Lions tied up 1-1 in this series. Could be going for this top tower. We're 23 minutes into the game. Lions up about 10,000 gold, 7,000 experience, and getting kind of scary close to knocking Complexity into the loser's bracket here. Just winners round 2. Lions Esports, they are a team that has done very, very well for themselves so far in HoN Tour. In fact, I believe they're number 7 right now in the overall rankings. I'm actually going to check that right now. Number 6. So they've done very well for themselves, placing in that 6th through 8th position, I believe, every cycle. Making it into the losers round of 4, but unfortunately not making it any further than that. This could be their opportunity to actually try to secure themselves top 6 once again if they did make it into the winners semifinals, which is what winning this match would mean. And they would guarantee themselves top 6 for the cycle. Of course, Complexity Gaming wants that just as bad. And what does Complexity do? Well, they tend to fall behind in the early game to a lot of different teams. But they persevere, they do not give up, and they take great team fights. They do not make mistakes, and they come back into the game. That's their goal, but here, working with a different roster, working with different hero and player roles, still working out the kinks, perhaps. And there's the shield breaker on Silhouette. Does pick that up after going for the portal key, so kind of like I expected. And a Firebrand actually picked up on Draconis, so interesting. Not going to be going for that Nullstone route just yet. Picked up the Sustainer for the mana regen, but in terms of stats, not going for that just yet. A lot of this kind of comes back down to the draft, in my opinion. I feel like this draft by Complexity was kind of not very well set up. Giving the opposing team Keeper of the Forest and then allowing them to take a Pharaoh as well while you take a Tempest. Well, you have to take a Tempest because if you don't take it, they'll take it. I don't know. I don't necessarily like that, but I couldn't tell you whether that was Franzi's screw up or just a good picking situation by Hanskin. I'm getting better at being able to read drafts. Still don't always know what these drafters are thinking. There's always mind games going on. There's always subtext, and Franzi, a very smart guy. I've read a lot of the stuff that he's talked about and written about in terms of drafting. As the top tower does go down, make that number 5 for Lions Esports, pushing themselves up to an 11,000 gold lead, and Silhouette picks up a Shield Breaker level 2. It's going to be flown out to her momentarily. Once she hits that Shield Breaker level 3, she's going to be able to kill Bubbles, Glacius, Tempest, just any of them. Just walk right in, PK on in, use the tree grapple, stun them, 5-6 auto attacks. Those players are dead, port back to the Shadow. That's what you're going to see from Flensmeister when he's trying to pick up these kills. And Torture going for a plate mail. Interesting. Interesting. Plate mail, I believe the only item that it actually turns into these days is Frostfield. Yeah. No longer required for a demonic breastplate, so it's going to be nice for the physical damage that is actually being dealt by Dragon, by Hammerstorm, and of course the slowing effect. I know that Krebson's a big fan of that item. Pressure being applied here by the Complexity Gaming squad. They want to bring down this tower in middle. They want to take their second tower of the game and try to equalize this gold lead just a bit. You need to be careful, though. There's a portal key available. Chain reaction's done, not going to hit. Tower does go down. There's the Tormented Soul getting a perfect scout on 4 players. And Silhouette, in the meantime, was pushing up the bottom lane. There's Shieldbreaker level 3. Silhouette farming at 512 gold per minute. Dragon at 448. Firebrand with the Sustainer and a Shrunken Head versus a Nullstone, Shieldbreaker 3, and a Portal Key. The much more aggressive build here on Silhouette. She has not used it aggressively just yet. Now that she has finished up that Shieldbreaker, I think that she will. If she sees somebody out on the map solo, feels comfortable, she's going to go ahead and drop that Shadow, make her way on in there, and try to kill him. Krebson at 400 gold per minute, and damn, Krebson, you just know how to farm. I mean, it's ridiculous that he's actually farming this well when there's already a 515 gold per minute Silhouette and a 320 gold per minute Keeper of the Forest as well. Only about 550 gold off from finishing up that Frostfield plate. With that Frostfield, can be able to do even more AoE damage. Can use the Torment to actually bring down this triple stacked Ancients. And needs to be a little bit careful here. Might have to use the Illusions. And yeah, we'll use the Illusions. Backs on up. I'm going to bottle up a bit. And going to try to finish off that last Dragon Master. I should expect top lane. Need to be careful. Pharaoh and Keeper of the Forest both trying to be up there. Pharaoh has gone for that barbed armor, whereas Keeper is still banking gold. 4,700 gold. Let's take a look here. Refresher, 5,200. 500 gold away from being able to pick one of those up. Might even go for a straight demonic breastplate. Lots of things that you can do with 5,000 gold. Still a very passive game. 39 minutes in. There's the kill onto Bubbles. Ports out to the Shadow. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Shieldbreaker level 3. Doesn't matter where you are. Bubbles calls EU. And definitely a pain playing in European latency. 238 here for the Suicide player of Complexity. And B-Kid, definitely one of the more notorious people to make it known that he is not happy about having to play on European servers. Coming from California, coming from, you know, an entire continent and a half away, yeah, it can kind of suck. And Hammerstorm looking like he wanted to go in right there. Of course, does have vision on Torture because of this Ward of Sight. I think I would like a Bound Eye to be picked up here as soon as possible for the Lions squad. Maybe have Keeper of the Forest carry that one around. His Keeper just purchased something. What did he just purchase? Check the courier. Resto Stone. So Keeper of the Forest now has 2 ultimates. Moonmeander, he's picked up the portal key, so went that route. As well as the Mighty Blade, just wanted to have some more HP. But even with that portal key, I mean, you got portal key and double ultimate here from Tree. Pharaoh has that Wrath of the Pharaoh available. Going to be extremely, extremely hard for Moon to land any big ultimates in this. And Lions looking to push down this last outer tower here. With that, they would be able to take full map control, purchase an eye, counterward everything, set themselves up for decent Kong position, and start to work on the racks. This is the standard style that Complexity essentially came up with, patented, perfected the strategy, and Lions emulating it as best as they can.
The Legion have destroyed the Hellborn Tower.
Tower goes down, Lions just backs on up. Actually in the Kong pit right now. This is sketchy. There's a ward, that's a counter ward. There is very little vision. I don't like this at all just yet. Sealkid does get a ward up here, but still not going to give you any vision here, here, or here. You need a ward in this location. But Complexity, either not aware or unwilling to commit to trying to stop this Kong board kill. And Kong will be going down here momentarily. Torture with a bottled up region, happy to tank it. And Flensmeister picks up the token, so wow. Complexity falling further and further behind. I mean, they're in a tailspin right now. And what are they going to be able to do? Stop it? They need a wombo combo. For those of you that were watching earlier today with TT Esports, when they were actually got 4 people trapped inside of a Tempest ult into a Mag ult into a Bat Blast from Wretched Hag. That's a wombo combo. Term, of course, comes from the fighting game scene. And if you're a fan of the fighting game scene, you should check out the SoCal Regionals, where Filipino champ, Complexity's star FGC player, is playing this weekend, playing Marvel. And he's going to be playing again tomorrow. Make sure you check that out over at ComplexityGaming.com. All the details are available. And defensive tower taking pressure. Chain reaction not going to happen right there. Torture taking a lot of pressure right here. But there's the first root going to be coming in. And oh my god, Moonmeander just gets obliterated. Second root comes back in as well. And Dragon just activates the shrunken head. Torture taking a lot of damage. Going to be able to get away from now. Will be able to get away. And down goes Keeper of the Forest as well. Silhouette is deep in there. And Silhouette will go... Wait, what? Oh, there's the ultimate coming in and catching 3 players, and that's what I'm talking about. Wombo combo. There's the Wrath of the Pharaoh, going to be able to trap 3 players, and Silhouette actually turning it around, and down goes Moonmeander, down goes Les QQ, and Hacks are in, now in some trouble as well. Will he be able to get the portal key off? It has it available in 3 seconds. Will he go in? Doesn't look like he is going to. Moonmeander did have to buy out right there. A good fight for both teams. Able to burn that token, able to take home 3 kills, defended the racks. That's what Complexity got out of it. Forced a buyback, and we're able to take some kills there. That's what Lions got out of it. Both teams got to walk away from that happy. But with Kongor down for another 9 minutes, where do you go from here? Well, you go into a lot of turtle. You go into a lot of passive. These teams both playing to win. They know that this is the last game in this best of 3 series. One of these 2 teams is dropping into the lower bracket right here. Complexity says no, it's not going to happen. We placed 6th last time. There's absolutely no chance that we're going into the lower bracket right here, and they're going to fight their absolute hardest to make sure that they do not. Draconis has finished up that Geometer's Bane. Still no Whispering Helm, still no Nullstone. Not going to be going for those items just yet, as she's picked up a Slayer. Wants to be able to get that very, very strong DPS presence, as Silhouette's already finished up her Savage Mace. Keeper of the Forest had an awesome initiation right there with the double ultimate. Now, the problem was that they killed Moonmeander. He bought back. And then Moon came in with a beautiful ultimate. Wrath of the Pharaoh had been saved, of course, for that Tempest ultimate, and was able to get a secondary one off in this location over here. when everybody was trapped right in there, and Les QQ and Moon fell. Moon falling for the second time after Silhouette came back up from the Token of Life. But will Moon have another buyback? And I mean, even buying back sets him further and further back from that Shrunken Head. Is he even going to go for a Shrunken Head? You got to think with three main things. I mean, you even have the swap as well. The swap from Andromeda. You have the Wrath of the Pharaoh here from Pharaoh, and 2 ultimates from Keeper of the Forest. Are you even going to be going for that Shrunken Head? All of those things go through the Shrunken Head. And I feel like you have to, because if you're standing in the middle of the team fight, you're going to take so much damage, you're just going to die before you even get that ultimate all the way off. At the same time, it's not going to buy you a full ultimate. That's going to be all about positioning. Andromeda finally purchasing a Bound Eye now. Going to be able to do some counter warding. The rest of the wards are all on the lower side of the map. Counter ward and 1 ward covering the bottom rune. Seal Kid being very careful though, trying to stick next to trees so that he remains invisible. And going to drop some wards up here. Ancient's unfortunately not double stacked. A great job from Super KGE once again to actually block that stack with his rockets. 5 dragons walking around. Those dragons are going to make their way into the bottom lane, where they are going to do a lot of pushing. In fact, they might just backdoor the tower. No. I'm going to go ahead and start the push here, and this is actually kind of stupid looking. Okay, only 2 dragons left. Still doing a decent amount of push, though, with that fiery barrage on the ground. Silhouette actually going to come in and make sure to stop that push. Even she's taking a decent amount of damage, though. Silhouette with 1,800 gold saved up. What is she going to be working toward? Does already have an attack modifier. Leads me to believe that she'd either be going for a Genjuro or a Wingbow. Genjuro might be the better choice of the 2. Could also go for a Shrunken Head. I forgot she didn't have a Shrunken Head yet. Wouldn't go with the Wingbow because Dragon already has a Savage Mace. Hacks are in. Even though he and his team have been so far behind this entire game, down 16,000 gold, 14,000 experience, the fact that he's still farming 507 gold per minute, he still has a Geobane, Shrunken Head, and a Savage Mace at 37 minutes is a testament to this guy's ability to farm in adverse conditions, and his team's ability to protect him while farming. He's got 1 death. Tower goes down in favor of Lions. True strike there on that Savage Mace is super strong. Very, very strong. The Lions team, no token. Are they going to try to go in right here? Silhouette gets some armor and is going to start to work on the racks. Might go for a kill. And in fact will get the kill right there on the Franzi. Teleports back out with the Shadow. And now, with 1 player down for 30 seconds, even the Shadow being saved. Gonna try to put the Shadow in the back again. And go for round 2. Might be going in on Moon Meander. In fact, there's actually the initiation. Shrunken Head's being activated. Kelfield gonna go down. There's the swap. So looking to be just fine for now. Frostio Plate going out. There's route number 1. Moon Meander is going to go down. Les QQ pounding in the auto text. There's route number 2. Geometer's made to break it, and Dragon start to take a lot of pressure. Dealing a lot of pressure back, though. Kills Krebson flat out. Bound Eye there on the ground as Andromeda is dead. Portal Key's going to be coming in, and they're going to try to actually turn it around. Will they be going back in? Buyout number 2 on Moon Meander. TP's coming out. Pharaoh going to go down. There's the push, and wow, that was actually a terrible push. Terrible push. Super KGE still going to be in some serious trouble here. Will Silhouette try to help? Actually going to go in right there. Gets the kill into Bubbles. Trying to get out of there now, but this is bad. Elemental Void catching 2 players right there, and that's what Moon needed. That's what the Complexity Gaming Squad needed. Buyback immediately, and buyback on Krebson as well. They're going to TP on out. They want to make something happen. Complexity's watching that scoreboard, though. They say, you're up, we're out. Complexity taking a fantastic fight right there. Able to clean up the entire team. Lions way overextending. At this point right here, when Silhouette came back in, able to get kill on Bubbles at the level 12 Bubbles. You're at level 23 Silhouette. Was that worth it? I doubt it. On the other hand, Tempest Elemental Void is down. As soon as those buyouts happen, the Elemental Void down, this should be a Rax. Keeper of the Forest is going to have an ultimate in 15 seconds, and Lions, as long as they do not blunder terribly, this should be a Rax. Complexity Gaming standing off right now. They don't want to mess with this just yet. There's the Glacial Blast, going to break the Nullstone. 2 seconds stun from Hammerstorm. And pressure going to be coming in. Tormented Soul, they can use the Wrath of the Pharaoh this time. They don't need to hold it. There's the Shell Surf. Wrath of the Pharaoh onto the Dragon, activating the Barbed Armor, and Dragon's got to be real careful not to attack right here. Hammerstorm taking a lot of damage, and Dragon actually taking a lot of damage. Haxor's going to go down. There's the ultimate from Keeper of the Forest. Down goes Glacius as well. Les QQ going to take the fall. Buyback on Haxor, and he's trying to come back in. Bubble's going to try to teleport on out of there. Rax goes down. 5 players still up here from Lions. There's the Wall of Mummies. Beautiful Wall of Mummies. Buyback there. Andromeda going to drop. Need to let her go. Need to let her go. Need to let her go. Dragon going to be coming in. Finishes off Andromeda. There's the energy field. The kelp. The field of ice. The frost field. And Crimson will get out of there. So Lions takes the Rax. They trade Andromeda for 3 players and 2 buybacks. Great trade for them. Up 18,000 gold. 14,000 experience. Lions is in the zone right now. They're able to get the kill onto Dragon, force the buyback. And Complexity, what are they going to do from here? They got the Elemental Void up in another 50 seconds. Dragon still farming well, still doing a ton of damage. No more buyback available right now. If he dies right now, I don't believe he'll have a buyback. Maybe he will. I don't know. Still pretty early in the game. Kongor going to be back up right now. Kongor is there. Elemental Void's going to be up in 20 seconds, and Complexity could look to take a fight at Kongor. But once again, they're running low on map vision. Andromeda picks up another Bound Eye. Life of the Support just buying Bound Eyes over and over and over again. Unfortunately, has lost 2 or 3 of them so far. And the Illusion Rune now picked up here by Silhouette. Try to bait some spells and maybe go on in. Try to take a fight. Going to start to work on Kongor, actually. As the Tree Grapple goes off the Aurora. Actually, Kongor dropping really fast. And going to use the Scouting Silhouette right here. Going to start to work on Glacius, actually. And Complexity team falling back. Kongor already below half-life. Need to be very, very careful in the pit. Need to be very careful in the pit. There's the Aurora going to be going out. And Shell Surf can actually scout out what's going on here. Chain Reaction not going to connect with anything. And there's actually Silhouette getting trapped right there. Bad. Bad, 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 bad. Not going to be going in just yet. Needs to be very, very careful about doing something like that. If she'd gotten trapped on that high ground, dropped a meteor up there, and then just Elemental Voided or something, could have been very, very bad. So up working on that Shrunken Head. Now Kongor actually going to get blitzed down right here. Shell Surf not going to be coming in. Andromeda actually baiting right now. Andromeda can actually swap. And there's the Elemental Downpour coming in. There's the #1 root. Does not have another root available just yet. As Andromeda is dead. Glacius goes down as well. Refresher Stone activated as Dragon's just pounding in damage. Keeper of the Forest will go down here momentarily. He's invis. Drops the second root though. And Crimson going to be up. Bubbles goes down, gonna man up under Draconis right here. Needs to be very, very careful. He does have the Shrunken Head available. Where the hell is Silhouette? Silhouette's in the background, just killing everybody. Moon Meander is still there. The Elemental Void is available. Shrunken Head, and oh my god, Draconis just died. Draconis just went down right there, and that could be it. That could be it. GG, well played are coming out. And Complexity Gaming, do they have anything left? They do not. That is it. And Lions takes the series 2-1. How about that? That last team fight, Silhouette was just in the backfield, crushing, just absolutely massacring anyone she could get her hands on. And Lions perseveres. They take the series 2-1. Complexity Gaming dropping into the lower bracket. Losers round 2. A little bit earlier on than they had been maybe expecting. Definitely earlier on than I had been expecting. In fact, I think we were all hoping that they'd make it all the way through without dropping into the loser bracket, go into that grand finals with a 1-game win, but that was not the case. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get Super KGE on real quick. And see if Emma wants to talk to us. But Complexity Gaming, well played to them. They gave it their all and still reacting to an unexpected roster change. Talking to the Lions guys right now. See if anybody wants to do that. Let's get that scoreboard updated, though, as Lions takes the series. And not getting any responses just yet. Lions guys might be doing a little bit of celebration, but yeah, you got to give it up to the Complexity guys. They came out, they gave it their all, and a little bit unfortunate that they were not able to bring it back right there, dealing with the new roster changes. And there we go. We're going to have Super KGE come on to talk to us a little bit about that game.
Hello?
Emil, how are you?
I'm pretty good right now.
Pretty good right now, huh?
Yeah, it felt great to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we talk about that a little bit? Let's go back to game number 1 in that series. I'm going to try to pull that one up. And yeah, game number 1. You were actually playing the Suicide Maraxis. I mean, excuse me, that was game number 2. Excuse me.
That was game number 2, yeah.
That was game number 2. So all the way back to game number 1. You guys started up with a 1-0 lead after taking that game. Flensmeister just did so well in that game. Wretched Hag being blind banned even in that last game. Maybe a little bit of respect there.
Yeah. It felt really great coming up 1-0 because we knew we had like the advantage in first game. So just keep on like farming and everything. So we had late game, we thought, and that's what we went for. So it felt really good to win that first game.
Yeah, it did. And well, I'm sure Complexity, they're down a little bit after losing one of their stronger players there in Chessie, but you guys capitalizing on that, getting that first game taken care of. And I mean, you there on Hammerstorm. What do you think about Hammerstorm? I've been seeing a lot of players picking them up, and Complexity definitely one of them. Lots of teams going with that versatile hero.
Yeah, the thing is, we think of him as like a very good initiator and also a very good late game carry, because when he ulti and have like Shrunken and Demonic and PK of course, because he's initiator, he can just burst through anyone almost in a few seconds. So, and then as we had bubbles, it's very good because then he keeps them in place and he can just keep hitting on everyone. So it's awesome combination there.
Yeah, it certainly did work. So you took home that first game. Going into game number 2, that time you guys had a little bit different of a lineup. You went with Tempest. You allowed the Pharaoh and the Tree on the other side.
Yeah, we thought we would have late game there, but they did win the early game, so we were pretty down a lot. Then we tried to do the best out of it, and then everything we need to make sure is that I jump like Hammer, Storm, and Keeper, while Bubbles is in the back behind, trying to interrupt Pharaoh, but we never had the opportunity to do that, so we lost like every team fight.
Yeah, B-Kid, people are spamming hashtag Angel as he goes flying through the sky.
Yeah, he interrupted every ulti.
Every single ultimate. He played that extremely well. And, I mean, what else went wrong in that game? That you just didn't have the team fight? You weren't able to find the farm? What was going on there?
I don't know. We just thought we had late game, we went for it, and then they just outfarmed us so completely, like this last game, what we did against them. So I guess they just outfarmed us, and then we couldn't do anything late game.
Well, there you go. And so, now, with going into game number 3, this is where everything was on the line. This one's for all the marbles, and you guys played phenomenally. Just absolutely phenomenally. Tell me a little bit, what was the mentality going into that one after losing game number 2? Were you guys demoralized, or were you energized to get back in there and win harder than ever?
We, of course, said that we should easy take the next game, because as we know, they lost Chessie, a very good player in the team. And then we said, like, we should just take the game, and then we went all in and picked our comfort zone. So we we played our best and won.
Went with the Andromeda, a hero that we
Yeah.
don't see too often.
We were thinking of getting Master Farms instead, because then we would have like early game. But then we were thinking, yes, they got Tempest, it's very good. And also, as we have Silette, you see, when we push the towers, we are ready to swap him out, or even Torture in some cases. So we had like picking Andro for the swap mostly.
Seal Kid playing phenomenally in that game. And I also want to give a personal shout out to Krebson. Farming there as your farmer in the middle lane, maintaining 400 gold per minute while you had your Hanskin at 350 most of the game, and Flensmeister, 550, 600 gold per minute. Finding the farm to keep that farmed of a Torturer, extremely well played by him.
Yeah, the thing is just that, as you saw the game, we were farming top lane, me and Hanskin all the time, and then we have Torture going Asians and mid the mostly. So we had like farm everywhere on the map all the time, and then I send rockets all the time on the Asians, so they couldn't really farm them. So it was like, pretty much.
I was watching your rockets a lot of the times there, and you had some very, very good ones, making sure to manage your opponent's resources a lot. And so you guys, this time, the shoe was on the other foot. You guys gave them Tempest, and you were able to pick up Pharaoh and Keeper of the Forest. Did you feel that you outdrafted them that game?
We said that we should win this game if we went late game, and that's what we wanted to go. So we felt that like we outdrafted them pretty big, in my opinion. So it was really great.
It was a pretty good draft, and just secured it the entire game. You were able to outplay them. And, I want to talk about one team fight there in specific. You guys were able to, in the bottom lane, after Hanskin got his refresher, he dropped double ultimates on top of their racks when you guys were going for bottom racks.
Yeah.
Killed Moonmeander. Moonmeander bought back and came back in. You had a Pharaoh ult right there. As Silhouette was coming back up in that token of life that might have saved that team fight.
Yeah, the thing is, I was looking for her Tempest, and I didn't see him, and then no one said that they killed him or anything, so I was like, okay, I wait for Tempest, and I didn't see him anywhere on the map or something, and then I saw he was alive, because he instantly bought back, so I was like, where is he? So I was keep on waiting for him, and then after the team fight, I said that, well, I was pretty mad at my team at that point, because no one said they got Tempest, and I was like, oh my god. But it worked out. So
that Wrath of the Pharaoh, 3-man Wrath into the Wall of Mummies, and Silhouette was able to come back up and able
then
to
everyone
kill everyone.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Pretty good play. Well, Super KGE, congratulations on your win tomorrow. You're going to be going on to the winners finals to play against Stay Green, who just took their series 2-1 over One Trick Pony.
Yeah.
What's your
that feels?
what do you think?
We're hoping to win, of course. It's just that their new roster change is pretty good, I think. So they have like the upper hand, I think. But
they're not playing with Chessie, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, because they're playing with Insane now, I've seen.
Yes.
And also, the ping advantage for us is pretty big, because I know Slicks is having a major ping. So I think we can pretty easy win the game if we just do play like this.
Pretty easy win the game? Emily, are you kidding me? You're going to bring down the HoN Tour champions right now. Pretty easy.
Yeah, easy.
All right, guys,
as our first game and third game, if you play like that, we win it all the time. It's easy.
Are you guys gonna have your first podium finish? You finished in 6th place, 5th, 6th place, all 3 cycles. Is that correct?
Not the second one. We placed pretty bad in that one. I think.
Was it 8th to 12th?
We lost. Yeah, 8 to 12, I think.
Okay.
Then it was 5, 6. Yeah.
Are you guys gonna have your first podium finish? Your first top 3 this cycle?
Top 1.
Top 1?
Yeah, we're going for it.
All right. Well, Super KGE, thank you very much for joining me on this, and congratulations to you and your team and your organization on your win here today, securing yourselves top 6 minimum. Any shout-outs to do before we shut down this interview?
I want to shout out to my team and also our sponsors, and I also want to shout out to Leiv and also our manager, Papa Björn. And all my fans, of course, and Lions fans. So.
All right. Super KGE from Team Lions eSportsKlubb. Emil, one more time, thank you for being on, and we'll catch you next time. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Adios. All right, guys, that is going to be a wrap for coLcast for the day. Get this one updated. coLcast returns tomorrow at 1200 EST. We'll be back tomorrow with 1200 EST with a losers round match. Whether that's going to be Complexity or another team, well, that depends on what HoNcast is casting, but you will see Complexity playing in the losers bracket tomorrow morning, one way or the other. Be sure to stay tuned for more details on that. And before we round out the show, got to give another big shout out to Complexity Gaming for all their support in making coLcast happen and allowing us to be here casting some awesome Heroes of Newerth and HoN Tour action for you. Of course, make sure to check them out at the brand new Complexity Gaming website, complexitygaming.com. You can check out all the information about HoN Tour there on the front page. Our newest SC2 acquisition, or the current event that is going on at the SoCal Regionals, where Filipino Champ will be playing in the finals, well, in the Championship Sunday. That's going to be tomorrow, of course. So make sure to go check that out. And, of course, a huge shout-out to the coL sponsors, Sound Blaster, Origin, QPad, PNY, Twitch, and G8 Brand. The best, only supporting the best. Guys, thanks for watching. I've been your casting host, Beef. You can check me out on Twitter at BeefPotPie1, and I'll let you know whenever we'll be back, what we're going to be casting tomorrow morning, when the VODs from today are going to be up, and anything else that pertains to coLcast over there on Twitter. We'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.